Are you struggling with pagination in Django Rest Framework when exporting to CSV? You're not alone. Today, we're going to tackle how to turn off pagination in your model view set for CSV formats. I totally get it. Pagination can be a hassle, especially when you're trying to export data in a format that doesn't require it. Many developers face this issue, and it can be quite frustrating. Here's the specific question we're addressing. One user asked if it's possible to disable pagination in their model view set when the request format is CSV. They wondered if setting pagination class to none would do the trick, and if it could be changed dynamically. Let's explore this together. So why is this happening? By default, Django Rest Framework applies pagination to all responses. However, when exporting to CSV, you might want to present all data at once. Understanding how to control this behavior is key to optimizing your API responses. And stick around. At the end of this video, I'll share a quick tip on how to make your pagination settings even more dynamic. To dynamically control pagination in the Django Rest Framework, the user can override the getQuerySet method in their model view set. This allows them to check the request format and set the pagination class accordingly. Next, the user should ensure that the pagination class is set to none when the request format is CSV. This is done by checking the accepted renderer format in the getQuerySet method. Additionally, the user can define a default pagination class for other formats. This ensures that pagination is applied when the request format is not CSV. Finally, the user should test their implementation by making requests in different formats. They can use tools like Postman to verify that pagination is disabled for CSV requests and enabled for others. Fun fact, did you know that pagination was originally designed to help users navigate through large amounts of data? Now we can customize it to fit our needs. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative approach suggested by another user is to set the pagination class to none directly within your class definition. This effectively disables pagination for that view. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. An alternative approach shared by another user suggests modifying the pagination behavior in your model view set. Instead of setting pagination class to none, they recommend overriding the paginateQuerySet method. Then call this function within your list method using self.paginateQuerySet queryset request. This way, you can dynamically control pagination based on the request parameters. Now let's see a response from a different user. An alternative solution provided by another user involves creating a custom CSV renderer. They suggest defining a class called PaginatedCSVRenderer that overrides the render method to handle data differently when it's not a list. Next, they recommend updating the object view set to use this new renderer. You would set the renderer classes to include both JSON renderer and your custom paginated CSV renderer. Finally, they advise removing the page size setting from your configuration to ensure pagination is disabled for CSV requests. Now, let's dive into a different answer from another user. An alternative approach suggested by another user involves modifying the paginateQuerySet method in the Django Rest Framework. They recommend checking if the request format is CSV and returning none to disable pagination. Here's that quick tip I promised. Always test your API responses after making changes to pagination settings. This ensures that your data is being served correctly in all formats. And there you have it. You've learned how to turn off pagination for CSV exports in Django Rest Framework. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe for more tips and tricks. Remember, mastering these small details can make a big difference in your development process.